Sadness decides to sit beside me on my bed. I wake with its presence. I lie down with its presence. The degree of sadness from gloom to agony, depending on the day and how the wind blows my heart, carries things from my past into my present. Though I have sheer determination to overcome it, the cloud that follows me doesn't know how to find the correct exit. Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Camille Nicole and I am so glad you have decided to join me today. As I am a growing channel, as you can see, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. My channel is a variety of valuable information that is created personally by myself to inform, entertain, and educate you in so many different forms. So for the next 12 weeks, I am going to be in a series of Let's Talk the Reality of Depression, Anxiety, and the Desire for Control. It's a big one. And I will be releasing these videos on this topic every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for the next 12 weeks. So I hope that you decide to join me and share these videos with your family and friends who may be struggling with this topic, especially with everything that is going on with 2020 right now. And normally, even with the last quarter of every year, it's filled with festivities and family and friends, and this is also the time of year where depression finds its way in homes anyway. So as we prepare for the holidays, we want to make sure that our minds, our bodies, our emotional states, all of that is in the proper contact, right? So if you are one of those people who suffer from depression on any level, this channel, this particular video right here, right now, is for you. So I wanted to create this series because I know many people suffering silently and not enough people who look like me from my generation talking about this. I know for a fact that I am one of a kind, but I also know I am not the only one who has felt the heaviness of depression, anxiety, or the desire to control. All right, so in my last video, we talked about the desire for control and why we have it. In today's video, we are going to talk about the degrees of sadness. So let's get started. There are really different levels of sadness. It can just go from sad all the way to agony where you just can't bear it, right? And so the proper definition for sadness is an emotional pain associated with, characterized by feelings of disadvantages, loss, despair, grief, helplessness, disappointment, and sorrow. An individual experiencing sadness may become quiet or lethargic and withdraw themselves from others. Crying, of course, can be a huge indicator of someone who is sad. So does any of this sound familiar? Yeah, I'm sure it does, because you can experience sadness at any given point of any day. Sadness is a very common emotion to feel. Some of us feel it more frequently than others, but we all know what it is like to be sad. We've all felt it. We may have felt these feelings from losing a relationship, a job, a pet, someone said something cruel, maybe not even intentionally, but it hurt our feelings. We may have feelings of sadness when our favorite sports team has just lost. We may feel sad when the outfit we want in our favorite store is way beyond our budget. Ladies, you can attest to this for sure. I want a Coach bag. I've had to put it down several times, and it makes me feel sad for a little bit, and I keep moving. So while feeling sad is extremely common, we all feel sad for different reasons and by different degrees. And when thinking about sadness, what also comes to mind are relationships. When we find ourselves in unfulfilling relationships, that can often lead to sadness. We may have settled with a certain partner, we may have moved too fast, or we might undergo treatment that isn't so nice in certain relationships, and this causes us to be sad. And if it's not fixed, it can quickly lead to a deeper degree of sadness, like depression. You're suffering mentally, emotionally, internally, like your whole world can be turned upside down if you don't fix that root of sadness kind of immediately. Studies have shown, we have had studies to show that there are levels of sadness, and when feeling sad is minimal, There is not much to worry about, as sadness is a normal feeling that most people, for common reasons like when it rains outside, right? Seasonal sadness. Or if you are late for work, you might feel sad. Sadness becomes worrisome though when it goes over the threshold of disappointment. You then get into misery, and soon after misery comes depression, and after depression, when it's left untreated, could lead to an extreme case of sadness, which is that agony feeling where you can't get out of bed. Is severely heavy. And sadness, though it's a normal emotion, it can be helped by hanging out with a good friend, doing a yoga class, reading a book, or taking a warm bath. Now, depression, on the other hand, takes other kinds of treatment. This treatment should be taken very seriously, and it may consist of some type of talk therapy put into place or antidepressants. Talk therapy will help you get to the root of the issue of depression, while the antidepressants can help you manage from day-to-day life. Okay, sometimes we need the mental chemicals to be balanced, and that can happen naturally or with antidepressants. So, and I must say, personally, I believe in treatment of all natural components. When dealing with depression, going to bed and waking up at the same time each day can really help with the symptoms of the depression. Regular exercise can also be an awesome way to raise serotonin levels to combat depression as well. And most importantly, you guys, it's our diet. It's the things that we eat, what we're putting into our body, which is huge. So when we're feeling sad, especially to the point of depression, and depression is present, taking care of ourselves, doing these little things like exercise, eating healthy, and getting adequate rest can seem like an impossible task. But having a support system in place is extremely helpful, and it is big for our success in living with sadness or depression. So also I want to talk about something that seems impossible, but a must in order to overcome sadness. A true relationship with Jehovah God is also huge. And so don't get me wrong, I know that we all have our own religious backgrounds, ways of meditation. Everyone has their own spiritual life. So in these videos, I just want to let you know I will reference the Holy Bible and Jehovah, because that is what helped me in my journey, and that's my testimony and how I can share information with you. And I have found these things to be extremely helpful. I have tried many ways. For me, this is the most efficient way though. And I encourage those suffering from deep sadness and depression to try some of these things. I've tried different meditative skills, music, lights, crystals, candles, everything. But what brings me the most peace is when I am in the presence of the most wonderful high God, the Almighty Jehovah God, and He is the only way. And that's my belief. But I also want to encourage you that I started out with walks outside. I started out with eating a better diet and going to bed at the same time, waking up at the same time. And these are things that I truly believe that can help you figure out ways to live or maneuver or just go about with this sadness that may be there and won't go away. So we're definitely going to talk more about this in future videos. We're going to break down some things, maybe even go over some meals, bedtime routines, things like that, to kind of help you get and understand how to cope with depression. And so to review, the degrees of sadness, which this is what this video is about, the degrees of sadness are huge. And I have a list of words here, and I want you to kind of look at these words, hear what I'm saying, and scale where you are with the degree of sadness. And words to describe sadness, from sad to the worst of the worst, are unhappiness, sympathy, pity, gloomness, insult, insecurity, loneliness, defeat, shame, guilt, regret, remorse, disappointment, dismay, misery, sorrow, grief, woe, melancholy, depression, anguish, suffering, and agony. A lot of times we feel grief about something, we feel sorrow about something, and we mistake it for depression, when really we are grieving something and we need to get to the bottom of that. We might be grieving our job loss. We might be grieving the death of a loved one. We might be grieving a broken relationship. We might be grieving our children growing up, having another birthday. These are things that we might feel like we're depressed, but they really have a root. And once we start to dissect what that looks like, we can really overcome it and accomplish great things. So when faced with a situation that makes you sad, you want to measure the level of sadness with this list of words. You want to measure that because you want to know what you're really scaling. Are you extremely depressed already, or are you just unhappy? Because it can really feel the same. Are you grieving, or are you just disappointed? Do you feel guilt and regret, or are you lonely? So we have to face the situation head on. See what is making us sad. Measure our level of sadness with the list of words that I just identified. See where you are, and then come up with a game plan to combat those feelings, to get to the root of those feelings, and to feel better so that depression or worse does not settle in. A lot to think about here, I know, but it is a great starting point in recognizing where our feelings are and how to maneuver in life with them. Sadness is a real sadness is a real thing, and once noticed early on, you can help prevent the rest of these feelings on the scale of the degrees of sadness to come on. So if you're sad, you're feeling unhappy, you're feeling lonely, we can really get to the bottom of why we feel that way so that we don't ever have to feel agony. So this video, all about degrees of sadness, and I am so excited about how many people we will be helping through this video and many more to come. So if you know someone suffering from depression or anxiety or has the tendency to overextend their need for control, please share this video with them. We're all in this together, okay? So don't forget to subscribe, all right? It's very important so you can see my next video coming out. Like this video, which will really help people see it. And then I will be talking in the next video about who gets depressed and why. You don't want to miss this, so stay tuned for my next video. Again, my name is Cameo Nicole. I'm so glad you joined me, and I will see you next time. All right, have a great one.